Eliza Lamb, 2013. On January 31st, 2013, a 21-year-old university student vanished from a hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Weeks later, guests staying in the building began complaining about strange water problems. The water pressure was low. The water tasted unusual. Some guests even reported the water appeared darker in color. What maintenance workers would eventually discover on the roof of the hotel would transform an ordinary missing persons case into one of the most famous mysteries on the internet. This is the story of Eliza Lamb. You might be asking, who was Eliza Lamb and why would she do this? Well, Eliza Lamb was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver. Friends and family described her as intelligent, creative, and adventurous. In early 2013, she decided to take a solo trip along the west coast of the United States. Her journey included several cities before arriving in Los Angeles, where she would eventually meet her fate. She checked in the historic Cecil Hotel on January 26th. At first, nothing appeared unusual. She regularly contacted her family back home, but only a few days later, those communications suddenly stopped. When Eliza failed to check in with her parents, they contacted authorities. Police searched the hotel, guests were questioned, and rooms were inspected, but there was no sign of Eliza. It was as if Eliza vanished with no trace. Even though they had nothing to go off, authorities combed through hours of hotel footage to find this one last video where Eliza was last seen alive. People didn't know what to make of it at first because she was just in the elevator, acting sporadically, pressing buttons, looking outside the doors like she was nervous, but no one could really tell what her true intentions were. There were many and countless theories on Eliza's suspicious and erratic behavior. The first theory is a mental health episode. Eliza suffered from bipolar disorder, which could lead to psychotic episodes such as paranoia, hallucinations, and make her believe she was being pursued by somebody. The next theory, which is also super popular, is medication intoxication. Many believe she was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, which could result in her acting strangely and make her see things. And the third theory, which could actually be the most dangerous for Eliza, is somebody was outside. In the video, you can see Eliza gesturing towards somebody like she's trying to talk to them or get them to come to the elevator. And some people say that that person could have been chasing her, a dangerous stalker who could have intentionally done bad things to her in order to hurt her. At the start of the video, I mentioned that guests were reporting problems with the water. Well, authorities thought that might have a connection to the death of Eliza, so they investigated anything that they could get. They went to the water tanks, inspected them, but nothing looked wrong from the outside until they opened them. When they opened them, they saw the body of Eliza Lamb sitting in there. Police instantaneously launched an investigation. Investigators reviewed evidence and interviewed witnesses. No evidence suggested another person had harmed Eliza. Authorities eventually concluded her death was an accident. Reports indicated that Eliza had been experiencing mental health challenges and may have become disoriented. The unusual behavior seen in the elevator footage was considered consistent with someone in a confused or distressed state. While the official explanation answered many questions, it did not satisfy everybody. Years later, debates still continue online. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. The Dyatlov Pass incident is much lesser known due to the lack of recency. The Dyatlov Pass incident is an event in which 9 Soviet ski hikers died in the northern part of the Ural Mountain Ridge in the Russian territory. The expedition was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. His team consisted of experienced hikers and skiers who had completed difficult winter expeditions before. In the situation where someone gets lost in dense woods, usually it's an unexperienced hiker or people who don't know what they're doing. But this is different. They had 9 intelligent minds there to help them solve any problem. So what could they have come across that can make them vanish without a trace and the mystery go unsolved? Concerned families pushed authorities to organize a search. After days of searching through snow-covered mountains, rescuers found the group's tent, but what they saw made no sense. The tent was partially buried in snow. A knife had been used to cut openings through the side of a fabric from inside. Personal belongings were left behind. Winter boots, jackets, food, everything necessary to survive in the tundra. Yet the hikers abandoned it all. Footprints led away from the campsite to a nearby forest. The tracks suggested the groups left in a hurry, but not in a complete panic. Some prints appeared to be barefoot, others made by people wearing only socks. In those temperatures, survival outside for long was nearly impossible. Following the tracks, searchers reached a large cedar tree near the forest edge. There, they found the first 2 bodies. A small fire had been built nearby, suggesting the hikers tried to survive after leaving camp. A few hundred meters away, 3 more bodies were discovered. It appeared they had been attempting a return to the camp, but they never made it. Months later, after the snow began to melt, researchers found the remaining 4 bodies in a nearby ravine. Some had serious injuries. One had severe head trauma. Another had a fractured skull. The force behind the injuries appeared to be extremely powerful, yet investigators found no evidence of a fight or another group had been present. The mystery only grew deeper. Over the decades, countless theories emerged. Some blamed secret military tests, others suggested classified Soviet experiments who got leaked and they wanted to hush the witnesses. Some even proposed unknown alien creatures. But the most widely accepted explanation today is much less dramatic. Modern investigations suggest a rare type of avalanche that may have occurred near the campsite. If the hikers believed a larger avalanche was about to strike, they may have evacuated immediately. Once outside, freezing temperatures, darkness, and powerful winds could have turned a survival situation into a tragedy. In 2020, Russian investigators officially concluded that an avalanche combined with the harsh weather was most likely the cause, but still, not everybody was satisfied.